The ballroom of the Sheila Hotel in Seoul glowed with a brilliance rarely seen, as if the chandeliers themselves had been waiting for this very moment to shine with a deeper sparkle. On a crisp evening in late autumn, under the velvet night sky, Yoona and Lee Junho stood hand in hand at their engagement ceremony. A moment that would become etched not only in the history of Korean entertainment but also in the collective heart of a nation. It was not just another celebrity gathering. It was a convergence of love, family, legacy, and the kind of emotional sincerity that left even the most stoic fans in tears. From the moment word spread that this private yet grand event would be hosted at the Sheila Hotel, an iconic venue known for hosting the weddings of South Korea's most celebrated figures, the excitement reached fever pitch. Fans who had followed both stars for years found themselves caught in a swirl of emotions. Many had been shipping the pair since their chemistry exploded on screen in King the Land, a drama that painted them as the perfect couple. Now, reality had surpassed fiction, and the sight of Yoona and Junho standing together in front of both families made it feel as though an entire nation was witnessing a modern fairy tale come to life. Inside the ballroom, the atmosphere was a breathtaking balance between tradition and luxury. White roses and peonies lined the aisle, fragrance soft but pervasive, carrying with it the quiet elegance of first love. A grand piano stood off to the side, its keys touched gently by a pianist whose melodies floated through the room like whispers of blessing. Crystal chandeliers cascaded light that bounced off champagne glasses, shimmering gowns, and the expectant eyes of every guest present. Every detail had been planned with meticulous care, down to the embroidered silk napkins that bore the initials J and Y intertwined like two souls destined to be together. As the families arrived, the emotional weight of the evening grew palpable. Yoona's parents entered first, their expressions a blend of pride and tender nostalgia. Her father, once known for his quiet reserve, could not hide the sheen of tears in his eyes. He looked at his daughter, radiant in an ivory gown inspired by the handbag's timeless lines, and seemed to see all the years of her journey, her childhood dreams, her early days as a trainee, her rise to national treasure status, culminating in the single evening of joy. Her mother, elegant in a pale pink handbag, touched his hand gently as if to remind him that this was not an ending but a beautiful beginning. Junho's family entered with equal grace, bringing with them a traditional ham chest, a wooden box that symbolized blessings and prosperity for the couple. Father's posture was straight, his voice steady. But when his eyes fell upon his son standing at the far end of the ballroom, his composure softened. There was pride, yes, but also a deep gratitude for the journey that had brought them here. Junho's mother, refined in a sea blue handbag with golden embroidery, carried herself with the quiet dignity of someone who understood the magnitude of the moment. Her son, once a boy chasing music and dance with relentless energy, now ready to build a new family of his own. When the two families greeted each other, the room fell into a hush, as though everyone instinctively understood the sacredness of this union. They bowed deeply, exchanged words of blessing, and in that instant, the engagement was not just about two stars, it was about two lineages intertwining, two legacies embracing, and two families becoming one. And then, as the pianist's music shifted to a softer, ethereal note, the doors of the ballroom opened once more. A collective gasp swept through the audience. Yoona appeared, radiant and poised, walking slowly toward the stage with her arm gently linked through her father's. Her gown flowed like liquid moonlight, the silk catching each glimmer of the chandelier's glow. Looked every bit the goddess the world adored. Yet in her eyes there was a humility, a sincerity that reminded everyone she was also a daughter, a bride-to-be, and a woman deeply in love. Junho, waiting at the end of the aisle in a tailored navy tuxedo that accentuated his commanding yet tender aura, could not hide his emotions. His eyes shone with tears he didn't bother to blink away. And as Yoona approached, the world seemed to blur around him. Fans watching from outside the hotel through live updates and scattered live streams later described it as the moment time stood still. The applause erupted as the couple finally clasped hands at the center of the room, their smiles lighting up the ballroom. It wasn't staged, nor was it a performance. It was raw, unfiltered joy. Cameras clicked, families beamed. Fans outside screamed in delight, and for a moment, the walls of celebrity and fandom dissolved. It felt like witnessing a love story everyone had been waiting to believe in. The ceremony flowed with heartfelt speeches. Yoona's father was the first to take the microphone. His voice, trembling but resolute, carried across the room. He spoke of his daughter's resilience, her dedication, her kindness. He recalled small, tender moments, her staying up late to rehearse, modesty despite fame, her compassion toward family, that revealed not just the global star Yoona had become, but the daughter he cherished. His words faltered as tears welled. And when he ended with, "I entrust her happiness to Junho," whom echoed with muffled sobs. Junho's father followed, speaking with a quiet pride that belied the emotion brimming beneath his composure. He praised Yoona's strength, her elegance, her unwavering character. "You are not only the light in Junho's life," he said, "but now you are also the daughter of our family." With those words, both families exchanged deep bows, and the symbolism of acceptance and unity resonated with everyone present. As the evening deepened, the ceremony introduced a blend of modern and traditional rituals. The couple lit a unity candle, its flame flickering softly as a symbol of their joined lives. They bowed to each family in respect, a gesture that resonated deeply with Korean tradition, at the same time exchanging rings designed with simplicity and timeless grace. Every step carried meaning, gesture soaked in cultural reverence, every smile painted in authenticity. The most surprising moment came when Yoona, her eyes shimmering with tears, took hold of the microphone once more. You expected her to sing that night, but she looked at Junho and whispered, "This is my promise." With that, the opening notes of a familiar ballad filled the room. Her voice, crystalline yet trembling with emotion, carried through the hall as she sang a song that had once been a quiet favorite of Junho's. Guests gasped. Fans outside watching through muffled audio recordings wept openly. And Junho himself stood frozen, his chest rising and falling as he struggled to contain the wave of emotion washing over him. By the time her voice cracked ever so slightly on the final note, Junho's composure broke. He walked toward her, cupped her hands in his, and whispered words no microphone caught. But the tenderness of his expression told the entire story. Applause filled the ballroom. Yet there was a reverent silence underneath, as though every heart in the room was pausing to hold on to this fragile, perfect moment. As the first part of the ceremony neared its interlude, the couple prepared for the traditional tea ritual, a sacred act where they would bow once more to their parents, symbolizing gratitude and respect. But just before that began, the entire room buzzed with anticipation. Junho's reaction to Yoona's song still lingered in the air, leaving fans and family alike eager to see what would unfold next. Outside, hashtags began trending in real time. Yoona Junho engagement tears off Joy Shilla Hotel fairy tale. When the second half of the evening began, emotions that were already overwhelming reached new heights. Junho, still visibly moved by Yoona's serenade, surprised her with a gesture of his own. He stepped onto the small stage and addressed her directly, speaking words from his heart rather than from any prepared script. "From the first day we met, you've been my partner in every sense. Tonight, I promise not just to love you, but to stand with you, to walk with you, and to make you laugh even when the world feels heavy." Sincerity broke the room into fresh tears. On cue, close friends and colleagues began stepping forward to offer their congratulations. Members of Girls' Generation shared warm embraces with Yoona, calling years of sisterhood and support. Junho's 2 p.m. brothers stood by his side, their pride shining as they toasted to his happiness. Several friends even performed impromptu musical numbers, blending laughter with tears, and creating an atmosphere that felt less like a formal engagement and more like a joyous family celebration. The symbolic moments continued with the exchange of engagement rings. Simple yet elegant, the rings were designed to reflect not extravagance but meaning, two intertwined bands representing unity and eternity. As they slid the rings onto each other's fingers, applause erupted yet again, fans outside chanting their names as though willing the moment into the stars themselves. The traditional tea ceremony followed. Steeped in cultural depth, the couple bowed deeply to their parents, serving them tea as a symbol of gratitude and respect. It was a moment of profound humility. Yoona's hands trembled slightly as she passed a cup to her father, who in turn placed his hand gently over hers. Junho's parents smiled through tears as they accepted the same honor. This ritual, simple in form but enormous in meaning, underscored the union of two families whose love for their children was now shared. Then came an emotional twist no one had anticipated. Yoona's father, who had already given a heartfelt speech, a microphone once more. His voice wavered as he recalled Yoona's childhood, her dreams of becoming an artist, and how he once worried about her walking such a difficult path. "Tonight," he said, "I see that every struggle was worth it. Because it brought her here, standing beside the man she loves." Junho's father responded in kind, presenting the couple with a symbolic heirloom passed down through generations, sealing the bond not just in the present but into the future. The evening approached its climax. The ballroom lights dimmed and the curtains drew back to reveal a surprise prepared for the couple. Outside on the hotel's expansive terrace, fireworks burst into the Seoul night sky, illuminating the city in radiant colors. The guests gasped in awe, but it was the moment Yoona and Junho stepped onto the balcony, hand in hand, waving to the fans gathered below. It etched itself permanently into memory. The crowd erupted into cheers, many holding candles and banners, their tears mixing with joy as they looked up at the couple they had supported for so many years. Social media exploded. Within minutes, tags dominated worldwide trends. Messages poured in from international fans, fellow celebrities, and industry veterans. The phrase "a fairy tale in Seoul" became the headline of countless articles, capturing the magic of the night in 4 simple words. The final moments of the ceremony drew near. The couple stood together under a canopy of flowers and lights. Junho whispered something into Yoona's ear, laughed through her tears. Their families gathered around. A photographer captured what would become the iconic image of the night: 2 stars, 2 families, and 1,000 emotions converging into one timeless picture of love. The evening ended not with fanfare but with intimacy. Guests departed with small keepsakes, fragrant sachets embroidered with the initials of the couple, while Yoona and Junho lingered, taking a quiet moment together after the whirlwind of the night. For them, this was not just an engagement, it was the promise of a life to come. A partnership born not of convenience or image. Genuine love, respect, and shared dreams. Night at the Sheila Hotel. Love wasn't just celebrated, it was immortalized. For the fans who cried, the families who embraced, and the couple who stood at the center of it all. The engagement ceremony of Yoona and Lee Junho was more than an event. It was a memory carved into the heart of a nation. A story that will be told and retold as the night when 2 of Korea's brightest stars promised forever. And as the final lights dimmed and the city outside whispered into sleep, thought lingered above all: if the engagement could be this magical, the wedding to come would surely be an event for the ages.